Hello, welcome to part 3. I think last episode we got quite a lot done on the neck, which is over there. I've just glued a piece of wood on the back of it, so it's got some height. I'll show you that in a bit. It's a bit late in the day at the moment because I've been doing the template body. I did already have one, but I thought I can make it smoother so it'll be easier to route. So we're just going to crack on, do the body. Let's zoom in on this wood and get going. Right, so clamps are off, this is all glued up nicely, got my template. What I'm going to do is line up the centre line to the joining line of the wood and draw around it. Hopefully when you get on the bandsaw and cut the rough edge around the side, there's a nice bit of flame maple here I'm going to try to save so I can do some colour tests, or could do control cavity covers with it or something. So let's draw around this and see what we come up with. As I said, line the centre lines up. Actually glued this pretty well so I can't see the centre lines very well. I'm going to say about that. Let's draw around it. And when we take this away, this is what your guitar's going to look like with the wood. I think that looks pretty fucking cool. So, what you do now, pretty much like I did with the neck, bandsaw around it, close to the line as you can without going through it. This is obviously a big chunky bit of wood, so whatever you're using to cut it when you do it, make sure it's a sturdy bit of equipment, basically. So I'll probably put that on a time lapse and get stuck in. Right, that's the worst part of the guitar build. Especially with a big chunky body like that, the saw struggles a bit with it. I've still got the mask on because there's dust flying about everywhere. So I'll probably come back tomorrow morning once the dust has settled, have a clean up, crack on. But the body is roughly cut. So I'll come back tomorrow, we'll route round it, it'll start looking like a guitar. So yesterday I ran the body through the bandsaw. I think I probably need a new bandsaw blade after that because of how thick it is. All I've done now is do the masking tape and super glue trick to stick the template on. I'm about to get the router out and then we're going to go around it. Time for some fast speed. Right, the body's been routed. Still needs a lot of fine sanding, but it's beginning to look like a guitar body now. So, I think when you walk my neck up to it, be somewhat like that. Starts looking like an actual guitar soon. So, what I've got to do next, I do have to do the roundovers on the back, but it needs fine sanding after it's been routed before I do that. So what I'm going to do now, well, I like to do all my fine sanding right at the end before you're going to stain it. That's when I'll do my fine sanding. So what I'm going to do now is do the neck pocket. Now I know the degree in which this is. So when you're making a guitar, I'm already assuming either you have a plan, i.e. a full diagram, which is one of these. Don't know if you can see that in the camera. It's even got a side angle design on. Or if you've just got templates online or whatever, it will tell you whatever angle your neck needs to be. Now, on my last one, I used a kind of, the Fender hardtail style bridges. With them, you don't really need an angle because it's quite a shallow bridge. With this, I'm using a Tune-o-matic bridge, which, like that. Now these are a lot higher than the other style, so if you imagine your bridges like that, if you had your neck flat, there'd be a massive gap between your body and where the strings actually are. This is why you put an angle in the neck. It goes down like a Les Paul. It's usually about 3 or 4 degrees. In my case, it's 3 degrees, which I've put a 3-degree angle in that. So when I wrap the neck pocket, I know it's not going to sit like that. It's going to sit a bit more like that, which is what you want. But if you're doing a Fender style or you've got a different style bridge, you might not need to. But we teach you how to get that, find out the angle, but it's a whole other video. So for now, I'm going to assume you know how deep to do your neck pocket and the angle, if at all there is one. So let's get stuck in. Right. So this style of neck, I know I need to glue this, like as in the bottom of it, needs to go where my pickup starts, finishes, i.e. not there. So I know it's got to be about that distance. So I've already drawn a humbucker thing in because you've got a template so you can whack a line in. And ultimately, what you do is get one of my favourite tools, which is that, which is a laser. Now I know what you're thinking. Ooh. That looks expensive. They're about 20 quid. Just get one. So I've lined my centre where the book match top is. I've cut my template so that's my centre line. So I can basically line that laser up with the centre line. Let's say it's that. Then get some clamps in here. need to get a ruler and see if it's in the centre of your fretboard, and you can see the tiniest of movements moves that line quite a lot. So it's a lot of trial and error. So it's going to be really boring watching me clamp it up and go half a mil that way or that way. So I'm just going to speed it up. But that's the gist of it. Right, so you can see we've got laser running down the centre line, the joining line of the maple. I don't know if you can see it with a laser on, but there is a straight line, centre line on the bottom of that neck there. Nicely through that. Run along here. That's not attached yet, obviously. Nice and centre. Now, how you make your neck pocket is you want to get some sort of straight edge. So let's, a bit difficult to hold the camera as well. I know this has got a straight edge. I don't want to hit the thing that's on. So basically, you push these right up against the edge of the neck, masking tape and super glue. So you've got a straight edge, guide, almost like a template. One on this side, one around the back, and one along here. You then, as I said, super glue and masking, trick it down. Then you know what you're routing. If you know your depth, mark your depth, drill most of it away, and then you've got the router base to make it nice. So I'm going to do that now and probably speed it up. Right, so as I said, I'm taking the neck off now. I've got some nice straight pieces of wood, which I have stuck down to the wood. Now I've also got a line at how deep I want my neck to go. So what you do, get yourself a nice, hopefully you've got a pillar drill. And you want to take most of this wood out with a Forstner bit. It looks like that. That's literally just for taking chunks of wood out. And then you can run the router around it to get a nice smooth cut. So, let's go to super fast mode and get stuck in. Right. I know it looks messy at the minute, but it won't. So I've taken a chunk of material out with Forstner bits just above the line. Now, obviously normally you use the router to run around that, and the bearings would run along that. And if you put your neck in, it would fit, but probably wouldn't be particularly snug, and you want it snug. So the best thing to do is run some masking tape along the sides, and it just gives you point something of a mil just to tighten the neck up a bit. So what I'm going to do now is put the masking tape around, go at it with a router. Right, so we've got the neck pocket routed. As I said with the truss rod, so if I can't cut square, the bearings are rounded, so you'll see in these corners they're rounded. So the best thing to do, there's the neck, take one of the bearings out and draw around the bearings at the tip of this, so they're rounded, so the majority of it can be flat against where you want it, which I shall do now, and then we'll see if she fits. Right, that's the neck pocket done. So, let's get it out. Now it's the exciting bit where it starts to look like an actual guitar. The sign of a good neck pocket, you should hold it just with the neck and it's not going anywhere. You know, nice tight fit. So I think that'll conclude part 3. As you can see, I've done the humbucker routing. I need to take away the top piece of the neck. And yeah. So that concludes part 3. Hopefully I'll get in the workshop tomorrow and start part 4. Cheers.